about your husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, how much they mean to you, how much your relationship means to you. Now think about someone telling you that your lifestyle is wrong, you can't marry your significant other, or your current marriage is not legal. Unfortunately, that's the reality for gay and lesbian couples in the United States, but it shouldn't be. Marriage should be a right shared equally by all U.S. citizens, and I'd like to educate you on some of the reasons why. As younger generations in this country who have grown up accustomed to a more open and accepting environment grow up into the adult generation, the country is becoming more progressive, and this is an issue that's becoming ever more current, relevant, and out front. Currently, marriage inequality exists primarily due to three major reasons: religious beliefs, bigotry, and economic concerns. The information and statistics supporting the benefits of equality that I'm about to provide to you will hopefully convince you to join in the fight for marriage equality. Let me begin by discussing the three major oppositions to marriage equality, the first and perhaps largest of which being religion. Many religions believe that marriage is a union of solely one man and one woman. They typically believe this for two primary reasons. The first of which is that they believe that same-sex marriage will destroy the institution of marriage. Dr. James Dobson, referring to legalizing gay marriage in the Netherlands and Belgium, wrote in his book, Marriage Under Fire, "The institution of marriage in those countries is rapidly dying, with most young couples cohabitating or choosing to remain single. It appears that tampering with the ancient plan for males and females spells doom for the family." Now, if we look at statistics from states in the United States that have already legalized same-sex marriage, we'll see that that's just not true. In an article published May 23rd of 2012, "Does Gay Marriage Destroy Marriage?" on Slate.com, you'll see that the marriage rate and the divorce rate for all those states that have legalized same-sex marriage followed the same pattern in each state. The marriage rate had a spike immediately following the passage of the law, and then normalizing to levels just slightly higher than the marriage rate prior to the law passing. And the divorce rate, in 2010, 4 of the 5 states that have legalized same-sex marriage had a divorce rate that was lower than both the national divorce rate and the average rate of the average state. The second religious reason is that it deprives children of both parents. And this is typically unfounded because it's usually made when citing studies comparing children of a 2-parent household to that of a single-parent or foster household. As stated in Frequently Asked Questions, Defense of Marriage Act, from November of 2012 on GLAAD.org, all of the leading medical, educational, and psychological associations in the United States agree that children from same-sex households fare just as well as children from traditional 2-parent households. The American Psychiatric Association says research indicates that the optimal development for children is based not on the sexual orientation of their parents. The second leading opposition to marriage equality is bigotry. And unfortunately, when the opposition is rooted in pure bigotry, it's nearly impossible to counter. Examples from the 10 reasons why homosexual marriage is harmful and should be opposed from the 2013 on tfpstudentaction.org are that it violates natural law, it turns a moral wrong into a civil right, and it defeats the state's purpose of benefiting marriage. Now, there are countless studies, facts, and statistics that can refute this. However, when you're trying to counter hate, hard facts and evidence simply don't matter, and the only solace to really be taken there is that the faction of the country that opposes marriage equality on intolerance, hate, and bigotry alone is small and dwindling. The final primary opposition to marriage equality is economic concerns. Now, there are clearly financial benefits to marriage, so it's long been a contention amongst the opposition that legalizing same-sex marriage will be a strain on healthcare spending and decrease tax revenue. To counter this opposition, I would like to offer some information from a PBS.org article by one of America's foremost researchers on the topic, M.V. Lee Baggett, titled "The Economic Benefits of Gay Marriage," from March 29th of 2013. More than a decade of research from economists and analysis by the Congressional Budget Office suggests that states and federal budgets will actually get a positive boost if gay couples are allowed to marry. Additional state and federal spending benefits would be outweighed by savings from lower cash assistance and on Medicaid spending. And many same-sex couples would also discover the marriage penalty in the federal income tax system, resulting in a likely increase in tax revenue. It can clearly be shown through economic research that marriage equality would not be the financial drain that the opposition fears it to be. In the face of all this opposition, the general attitude towards marriage equality in the United States is changing. Citizens are starting to see the benefits of marriage equality. A CNN.com article by the numbers Same-Sex Marriage, posted on March 26 of 2013, stated that in 1996, according to a Gallup poll, 68% of Americans opposed same-sex marriage. In 2012, according to a Gallup poll, that number dropped to 48%. As of last Thursday, May 2nd, 10 states allowed same-sex marriage, they made it legal, and 5 states made legal civil unions. Rhode Island just passed the marriage law on Thursday, May 2nd. And though that's legal in those states, it's not recognized federally, nor does it have to be recognized on any other state level. The reason being is the Defense of Marriage Act, commonly referred to as DOMA. DOMA was enacted in 1996, and it defined marriage federally as only a legal union between one man and one woman as husband and wife. And the word spouse refers only to a person of the opposite sex who is a husband or a wife. DOMA also gave states the right to not have to recognize any marriage of a same-sex couple who are legally married in another state. The full text of DOMA can be found at gpo.gov under Public Law 104-199, Defense of Marriage Act. The most famous example of where DOMA has caused a huge financial issue is a case of Edith Windsor. Here's some information on her story from a CNN.com article from March 29th of 2013, titled "Victory for a Lesbian, Years After Her Longtime Partner's Death." She and her partner, Thea Spire, were together for 42 years. They were married in Toronto in 2007, and in 2009, Spire passed away. Since, in the eyes of the federal government, and at that time the state of New York, they were not legally married, this left Edith Windsor with a $363,053 inheritance tax bill. Needless to say, she has brought her case contesting the constitutionality of DOMA to the U.S. Supreme Court this past March, and they are expected to render a verdict this summer. There are 1,100 federal benefits to marriage, and at this point I've discussed many arguments and counter-arguments on the subject. What gives any person the right to deprive another of those benefits, especially when they're readily available to the heterosexual portion of the population? Depriving only the homosexual portion of the population of those rights is the definition of discrimination. So now, after hearing all of this information, I ask you sincerely to join in the fight for marriage equality. Thank you for your time, and if you want more information on marriage equality, what you can do to help, or events and legislation going on in your area, you can visit www.glaad.org or www.hrc.org. Thanks.